Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and coming up here today, we're going to talk about some injury news around players that I believe you're interested in. There's a guy named Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow. We're also going to talk about Deablo. Right before I went live on Tuesday, and friendly reminder, I go live every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. The Raiders made some roster moves. We'll break all of that down, but I think the biggest thing that we have to talk about here on today's show, Baker Mayfield to the Los Angeles Rams. He was claimed by Los Angeles today, and in fact, it's already been confirmed that the Rams were the only team to put in a waiver claim on the former number 1 overall pick. The question that I know I've already been seeing all over Raiders Twitter is he going to be playing this Thursday night up against the Silver and Black? Well, guess what? There's been some conflicting reports on whether or not he has a shot or not. Tom Pelissero tweeted out, new Rams quarterback Baker Mayfield is scheduled to fly to Los Angeles this afternoon. Obviously, he won't be ready to play Thursday night against the Raiders, but his work with Sean McVay starts immediately. So that's Tom Pelissero. Adam Schefter, though, he said the former number 1 overall pick Baker Mayfield was claimed on waivers today by the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams now inherit the remaining $1.35 million on Mayfield's contract. Mayfield is expected to fly to L.A. by tonight, and that final sentence is the important one. Could play Thursday night versus the Raiders. Schefter then also threw in another tweet that said he was told by a source that Mayfield has a shot to play against the Raiders. We will see what ends up going down. But friendly reminder, if you want news, rumors, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. Also, the Raiders signed defensive tackle Kyle Petco to the practice squad. They signed free agent linebacker Austin Caltro to the practice squad. They promoted, Petco to the active roster from the practice squad. That's on me. And then they released Kendall Vickers. So Kendall, I'll probably message you after this show, but best of luck to you, bro. Once a Raider, always a Raider. Kendall Vickers always worked his ass off. Hit that subscribe button, y'all. The reason why you clicked on this video, if I would imagine, it's because you're wondering whether or not Darren Waller is going to be playing against the Rams. And personally, I'm wondering the exact same thing too. Waller is eligible to come off the IR, which means he is eligible to play against the Rams. And if the Raiders deem him healthy enough to play, he has a shot to play. He was placed on IR after Week 9 against the Jags, dealing with that hamstring injury. He's been battling that injury for essentially almost a year now, it seems like, with the SI joint. He's missed 7 games this season, but that week I remember very clearly because that was a heartbreaking loss to Jacksonville. The Raiders fall to 2-6 on the season, and I remember thinking to myself, oh my Lord, how can it get any worse? And then a few minutes later, the Raiders were like, well, you know what? Not only are we going to put Waller on IR, we're also going to put Hunter Renfrow on IR. So since both of those players were placed on the exact same day, Renfrow now was eligible to come off the IR as well and play against the Rams. He was placed there with that oblique injury. He's missed 6 games this season. He's dealt with the oblique. He's dealt with a concussion. I would love to be able to see Waller and Renfrow out there on the offensive side of the football because for the first time in a long time, this offense, it's kind of clicking a little bit the way that we anticipated the Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, and then Hunter Renfrow offense to be clicking this offseason. So what do you think here, y'all? Let me know down in the comments section. Will Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller play against the Rams? I'm actually going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. So scroll on down. Let me know why for yes and for no will Renfrow and Waller play against the Rams. My personal opinion is I believe the Raiders are going to hold them out this week. I see both of those guys resting, getting ready for Week 15, and that's just my personal thoughts on that. Now, McDaniels did have some choice words to say, and that's why I'm going to lean this direction. This is what McDaniels had to say on Waller and Renfrow's injury. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Obviously, with no practice and those kind of things, it's a little bit of a unique situation, I would say. We're going to have some discussions, I think, later this morning once we kind of get a handle on where our team is relative to health from yesterday's game, just in terms of if there's anything that needs to happen or is going to happen. But it's a little bit of a tricky situation bringing guys like what happened with Nate Hobbs a week ago, not having practiced in 6 weeks and then trying to play a game. You got to be careful a bit and try to make a smart decision. But we're going to kind of let the health of the team, I'd say, assist us assist us in some of those discussions. As y'all can tell, I am super dyslexic at times. But coming up next here, my prediction on when Waller and Renfrow are going to be lacing up those cleats, getting back out onto the field, because I know the nation, you can be frustrated with Waller, you can be frustrated with Renfrow, but you know, in order for us to reach that peak, both of those guys need to play at a very, very high level. I'm going to tell you when they're going to be playing next, but friendly reminder that today's show is sponsored by Rocket Money. Who out there likes to save money? I know you do. And also, if you're like me, I am the king of signing up for free subscriptions, forgetting about it, checking my credit card statement at the end of the month and being like, crap, I got to cancel that subscription. I'll do it after work. I'll do it later. I'll do it after I walk Chuck. Never do it. The next month happens, and I'm like, I'm in the exact same situation. So shout out to Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill. They're going to help Raider Nation save a lot of money. The app shows you all your subscriptions in one place and then cancels for you whatever you don't still want. Rocket Money can even find subscriptions you didn't even know you were paying for. You may even find out that you've been double charged for a subscription. To cancel a subscription, all you have to do is press cancel, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. Get rid of useless subscriptions with Rocket Money now. Go to rocketmoney.com/LB Raiders. Seriously, it could save you hundreds per year. That's rocketmoney.com/LB Raiders. During the holidays is always the time that I'm always, pinching pennies. I'm just trying to save up a little bit of money. I'm going to New York in a week for Alex. It's my gift to her. I get to see my dad. I get to see my dad's girlfriend, Holly. I am getting to see a lot of family, and I want to be able to save up a little bit of money. That way I can splurge with them, and Rocket Money's going to help you do that. RocketMoney.com/LV Raiders. Link's going to be available for you guys in the comments and in the description of today's video. All right, let's talk about when Renfrow and Waller are going to be playing. I believe it makes the most sense that you rest them week 14, you play them week 15. With you playing on Thursday Night Football, it's a quick week. Not a lot of time to practice, not a lot of time to get full steam health, right? So by waiting, that then gives them 10 days. After Thursday Football week 14, that gives them then 10 days to rest up, get ready for week 15. Darren hasn't been great even when he's been on the field. So to me, I would rather be patient, because the offense right now is clicking. And there's always that saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix her. And the offense, for the first time, has been running the ball effectively. Devontae Adams looks good, and you're winning games. The offense looks good. So until I know that Waller or Renfrow are 100% and up to speed, I'm okay going up against a 3-9 Rams team that personally not going to have Aaron Donald. We should be able to beat them. I get it. We said that a lot this season already with the Saints. You said it with the Colts. Hell, we said it with Jacksonville. But this team right now is playing a lot different than what they were back then. We would all agree on that, right? I agree so. So also on top of that, not that I think that I know McDaniels and Ziegler, well, I obviously don't, but I would have to believe that if McDaniels and Ziegler, they look at that schedule, and that schedule came out, they saw 17 games. You're telling me right now that they didn't circle that Week 15 matchup against the Patriots? I don't care if I got switched out of Sunday Night Football and now it's going to be played in the middle of the day. I could care less about that. But there is that competitive nature where you know deep down they want to win that game. So if holding out Renfrow and Waller in Week 14 helps you better off your chances against New England, that's the one you got to do. On top of that, if y'all watched my video I put out on Monday, Raiders playoff chances, the most important game for the remainder of the season in terms of helping the Raiders make the playoffs is that game against New England, because New England right now is 6-6. The Raiders are 5-7. Both of those teams are going to be vying for a wild card spot. So the most important game for the Raiders playoff chances is Week 15 against New England. On top of that, I have to imagine that that's the most important game for Ziegler and for Josh McDaniels, which is why that's when I believe Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow end up returning. But you know what? I also know this season trying to predict when Waller and Renfrow are going to play has not been easy whatsoever. Hell, I put out a video last week. Is Waller just faking it? So I want to know. When do you think Waller and when do you think Hunter Renfrow will actually return to play? I'm going to put my money down on Week 15. Got some more injury news to cover here on the Raiders Report. Let's talk about linebacker Deablo. Remember earlier in the show I said, man, I didn't think it could get any worse when the Raiders announced that Darren Waller is going to go on IR. And then they said Hunter Renfrow is going to go on IR. Remember that when they also said that Divine Diablo's going to go on IR? He is also eligible to come off and play this week against the Rams. And for all the reasons that I just mentioned, with Waller and Renfrow holding them out to week 15, I'm going to say the exact same thing here about Deablo. The Raiders' defense the past 2 weeks has played well. They've looked good against the Seahawks despite 34 points. They got stops when it mattered the most, and they had an exceptional game this past week against the Chargers. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. Now, getting a player like Deablo back, I do believe it gives you extra depth. It does help out your team overall. Does he need to step up his game? Yes, absolutely. But I do find this kind of to be an interesting statistic. The fact that Deablo has been on IR for 4 weeks. He's missed 4 games. He's about to miss his 5th, I believe. He's still the leader on the team right now in tackles. Divine Diablo, 74 tackles. Crosby, nice number there. Denzel Perriman at 62. Duron Harmon, and then this guy ain't even on the team anymore. Jonathan Abram. Those are your tackle leaders right now for the Raiders. When you look at Diablo's PFF numbers this season, he's got a 58.4 overall grade. A run defense grade of 71.1. A pass rush grade of 54.2, a coverage grade of 50.7. I look at a lot of the opponents coming up here for the silver and black. We need a run stopper. You know why? The Rams, they don't got a quarterback. Sorry, Baker, even if you play. Not a quarterback. The Patriots, the way that they're going to beat you, on the ground game. The Steelers, the way that they're going to beat you, ground game. 49ers, ground game. Chiefs, we'll deal with it when we can. Divine Diablo can help out this team quite a bit. So the fact that we talked about Waller, Renfrow, and Deablo all potentially coming back in the next week or so, that means there's going to be dudes that end up getting waived, cut. And here are the 5 names that I believe. I actually had Kendall Vickers on this list, and then obviously everything just happened, like I mentioned in the beginning of the show. But Jesper Horsted, Jacob Hollister, look out for both of those guys. Horsted's been battling an injury. Hollister was just signed to the roster a few weeks ago. Curtis Bolton was added to the team when Divine Diablo went. Jackson Barton was added, and Darian Butler. All names to keep in mind as potential waive candidates when those 3 players come back on the roster. So we talked about Waller, Renfrow, and Deablo. I got one question for you, and then I'm going to skedaddle. Actually, that's cap. Biggest addition, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, or Divine Diablo. When I say that we're going to get these 3 players back either week 14 or week 15, how would you rank that? 1, 2, 3. Who's the biggest addition? If it's Waller, type 83 to the live viewers, 13 or 5. Me personally, this is how I would have it ranked. Number 1 to me is Darren Waller. Waller is really frustrating right now, and the reason why he's frustrating is because we know he can be a top 3 tight end. We know that he can be a total difference maker on the offensive side of the football. Darren Wallers don't grow on trees, and I'm hoping that Waller gets his act together and starts putting a little bit more attention on the football field, because it seems right now he's more worried about icy hot commercials or being in the studio. We get motivated, Darren Waller, that's the number 1. I'm going to go number 2 because then the defense still needs to be able to step up, and Deablo can help us out a lot. And the fact that I have more confidence in our offense is why I would put Deablo at number 2 instead of Renfrow over 3. But if you get Waller and Renfrow, they get their shit together, plus you add Matt Collins, Devontae Adams in the running game with Josh Jacobs, this has got a top 5 offensive potential. It still has that potential. Remember, y'all, you can always hit me up on Twitter. You can always hit me up on Instagram as well. I try to keep the nation up to date on everything going on around this team because I know they keep us busy, no doubt about that. You can also hit me up on Locals, NFL Week 14 Pick'em Challenge, Raidersport.locals.com. Huge shout out to Dan K, who was our Locals winner. Dan, if you want to get on the show, man, all I got is a picture of you with a great white shark photo on Locals. So if you want to get your picture on the show, I need you to hit me up, message me on Locals. I would greatly appreciate it. Cheers to the nation. That's everything that happened today around the Raiders.